if you only depend on social media to advocate for a serious issue, you are not working hard enough. You are not being effective. In fact, you are a dead weight to the cause. For all those people that I saw posting on social media, I better see every last one of you at those voting precincts come November, or the next time we have a general election. I better see everybody voting. I better see everyone encouraging people to vote, because it matters. What are you waiting for? Stop waiting on social media to get you to voice your opinion about a serious issue. This is a serious issue. Hey there, folks. This is me, your boy, Corey the Jokester, and we are here on my brand new podcast, Anything and Everything. And first of all, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in to this very first episode. I mean, this is my very first podcast ever, so I kind of want to just give you all the best form of not just entertainment value, but also some insight on what is happening around the world and my take on movies. So it is going to be a combination of movie reviews. It's going to be a combination of social commentary around the world. And basically, as the title suggests, we're just here to talk about anything and everything. And, I just want to create this safe space for all of us to be attentive to and, to allow people to feel any way that they want to feel. And when I give these opinions and, my perspectives of certain situations, you don't have to agree. And you know what? I would want you all to disagree if that's how you really felt. And I can respect that. A lot of people, they disagree with me all the time. And, and that's okay. We're all not going to be on the same page here. And, that's just the human way of living, We're all different for a reason. And those differences are what should unite us, as I should say. So, without further ado, I am pleased to say welcome to you all to this very first episode of Anything and Everything with Corey D. Jokester. Now, I know you all have been hearing a lot about our country right now and the state of where it is and, the fate of it. And it all boils down to a very controversial ruling known as Roe versus Wade, which was a landmark case back in 1973, I believe, in which it basically gave states an idea to where they couldn't rule out abortion laws. So basically, it protected abortion rights and it protected many rights of women. And, it goes deeper than just abortion. It just protected so many rights for so many people that it was considered a landmark case back in the day, back in the 70s. And basically, now what this uproar is about is that I want to say a couple of days ago, or a few days ago, maybe about a week or so ago, the Supreme Court overturned this landmark case, saying that states now have the right to decide whether or not they want to go forward with these abortion laws. And most likely, half of the states in the United States are probably going to ban abortion laws. And so now this uproar is mostly about women who feel as if they have been wronged, and which they have, in my opinion. Now, first of all, first and foremost, let me just say this. I am pro choice all the way. I do believe that, as a man, it is not within my duty to tell a woman what it is that she needs to do with her body. Because as men, we are not carriers of embryos or fetuses. We're not bearers of children. The women are. And you have to realize that there are many circumstances that surround abortions. And what I mean by circumstances, I mean like there are good reasons why people get abortions. It's not always what you think. It's not about, killing a life, as these pro-lifers, tend to say. It's more so about their circumstances and their situations. Some people just aren't ready to have children right now, and that's completely understandable. Me personally, I'm in my early 20s. I'm not ready to be a father right now. I don't even know anything about parenting like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who am I as a person who's in their early 20s? Who am I to tell another person, if I had a girlfriend or whatnot, hypothetically, who am I to tell my girlfriend, if I got her pregnant or whatever, hey, I want you to keep that baby because I believe that if you get an abortion, you're killing a life. Who am I to tell someone that? And then, the baby's born and none of us have any type of financial stability. None of us have any type of resources to give it. We probably don't even have the mental stability to care for a child. And that's another important factor. Some people just aren't mentally stable like that. Some people just need to get their minds right and get their lives together before they have children. And that's completely understandable. Now, me personally, at some point when I get married, I plan to, at least have my first child. I want to say either my late 20s or my early 30s. That is, my mindset. I am not in a hurry to have kids right now. I am not in a hurry to, be a father, because if I was, I wouldn't know what to do with the child. I wouldn't know how to take care of it. I wouldn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm young myself, so how am I supposed to take care of someone else if I got to take care of myself? You know what I'm saying? And I'm still in school on top of that. So yeah, there are a lot of factors that tie into, getting abortions. And also, women can have complications, with their bodies. Like, let's say, they're at a risk of having a miscarriage. And, with a miscarriage, you tend to lose a good amount of blood. And so having an abortion could kind of just save a woman from, going towards that fate of, losing too much blood to the point where they could die. And so you're telling me that these 9 justices who are guaranteed a life position, no term limits, because when you're a Supreme Court justice, you're guaranteed that job for life. That means no one can set a term limit to how long you can serve. No one can vote you out, I believe. So it's like you're there for life or until you pass away. But I feel like that needs to change, because it's become apparent that some people just don't have our best interests at heart. And I really feel heavily sorry for all these women who had to endure this, drastic and just downright awful decision. It's very egregious to see how our country is taking a downward spiral. Well, it's always been taking a downward spiral. And am I surprised by this? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised, because they've been planning on stripping our rights away for years now. Like, look at black people with the voter suppression laws. They've been trying to make voter suppression laws to where, it makes people like me, oh yeah, let me specify, I am African American, so this leads into the point that I'm trying to make. They're making voter suppression laws to the point where it's making people like me harder to vote in the first place. And I'm just like, wow, like, they really want to go back through the Jim Crow days and the 1950s and the 1800s. Like there are these highly conservatives out there who feel as if they just want the old ways back. They miss the old days. They want the whites to rule the supreme land again, which I don't understand. They're already doing that now. But the thing is, it's that I feel like people don't like change. They don't. I mean, as far as like racists go, and they just don't like to see progression. It's like we're regressing as a country rather than progressing. People don't like progressing. They like regressing. And that's a big issue. And that's what this landmark case, Roe versus Wade, is doing. It's causing us to regress even further. And this one particular justice, he goes by the name of Clarence Thomas. And I have to admit, I hate to pull the race card in this, but he is a black man. And what he said and his ideology behind this case really disappointed me, because I'm a black man myself, and normally when you see people like you in these high positions, you expect for them to fight for you. You expect for them to represent you well. You expect for them to advocate for you. But a friend of mine had to wake me up and tell me that, hey, just because they look like us doesn't mean that they represent us well. But, this is about women. This is not specifically about black people in general. But I just wanted to point that out because Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court justice who was part of overturning the Roe versus Wade landmark case, he wrote on Twitter that the Supreme Court should reconsider rulings that protect contraception, same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage. Now, I don't know if this man is Christian or not, but if so, I feel like people like him and other pro-lifers and all these other conservatives that use the Bible and use religion as an excuse to dominate people and, get over on them and mistreat them, I feel like that's not an excuse. And, for me, I was someone who was actually raised from a religious background. And so knowing me and knowing like what these people think, I think they're using religion for the wrong reasons. And it's sad because, this whole country, they say in the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, but look at what they're doing to quote unquote God's people. They're mishandling them. They're mistreating them. They're shooting them down like dogs in the street. They're stripping them away of their rights. And when I say people, I'm talking about the marginalized people. Not just black folks, but women. Women are also considered marginalized people, unfortunately. And it's sad because it is women who have brought us into this world. And I feel like with them stripping rights away from women, it's kind of contradicting the whole quality of life, if you know what I mean. And so this justice, I just don't understand, like, why is he thinking like this? Like, is he trying to kiss tail to these white politicians? Like, what is his agenda here? I don't understand. But I should have known because I don't know. Like I look at these, people of color in these positions, and I expect so much out of them. I expect them to fight for us and get us out of these situations that America puts us in. But instead, some of them, they do the opposite. They only think for themselves, and I guess that's every politician. Well, I can't speak for every politician, but the ones who are all about money and all about filling up their pockets. And you know what? And that's my next point. That's what this whole Roe versus Wade overturning is all about. It's not just about abortion. There's a financial aspect behind it. There's an agenda here. They want people to have kids so that way they can get more money. Because, the government, they love to squeeze money out of people, especially when you have kids. Because think about it. All those child, excuse me, all those child support payments, all of those welfare, even though, certain families get welfare benefits, the government actually benefits off that as well. I think they tend to make it harder for people who are in low income situations to have kids because they, like I said, they profit off that, This is a very capitalistic society, unfortunately. And that's what America is all about. America is all about their green before they're about their people. It's more of a business than a country itself. And I just feel like business and politics just do not mix together. This was very evident with, Donald Trump during his presidency and how he messed up the country and how he divided everybody. But nevertheless, I'm not surprised because I kind of saw this coming years back. I saw this as a mechanism used to divide the country even more. I mean, look at the events that happened in 2020, with the, COVID and the police brutality. And then look at what happened on January 6, 2021 with the insurrection on the federal Capitol in Washington, D.C. All of these events just sort of happening. And basically, there are people that I've seen on social media, they've complained, they have stated their anger and angst against these situations that are happening. And same thing with this Roe versus Wade situation. People have been, using their social media platforms to voice their opinions about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but what are you doing outside of social media? I mean, I get your anger. I get your frustration. I get that, you're upset with what the country is doing right now to all of these women and maybe even transsexuals who can get pregnant, you know what I'm saying? Or who can have kids. It's not just women, but the point I'm trying to make is, there are people out there, yeah, they're voicing their opinions, they're stating what's wrong. And, I'm not taking away from that, but what are you doing outside of social media? And another thing, I saw a post that Michelle Obama made regarding to her responses of the Roe versus Wade overturning. And I saw that many people that I knew only shared it when she voiced her opinion. And to me, I feel like, why does it take a celebrity or why does it take a well-known person to share a very serious issue when you should be fighting against things like this all the time? If you're passionate about something, you need to fight it for yourself. You need to fight for it for yourself. Don't wait on these higher people. No disrespect to Michelle Obama. I love that lady. I love the Obamas. I love that whole family. But I feel like you shouldn't wait on someone higher up or someone with a well-known status to say something and then you jump in and be like, well, all right, since they said it, let me say it. Why don't you share it for yourself and stop waiting on people to speak for you? In fact, why are you only utilizing social media as a way to advocate for these things? You know what I'm saying? Your butts need to be out there rallying peacefully. Host a peaceful protest. Not only that, but vote. Get out there and vote. That's what it all comes down to. There's so many people out here complaining about,
oh, this country, it's so trash.
Which it is, and
oh, these politicians, here we go again.
With this and that, posting all over social media. But are you out there at your voting precincts actually making a difference? And don't you give me that,
oh, well, I don't know where my vote's gonna go to. I don't think it really matters
crap. Because it does. It does. I mean, look, we got this man, Donald Trump, out of office in the presidential election of 2020. I live in the state of Georgia, and Georgia is known to be a red state. But when I looked on that map on election day, we flipped that state around and we turned it blue. We did that. It was the power of the people. It wasn't these high-class politicians. It was us. And yes, so what if our votes, if our popular votes, may not count as much as the electoral votes? At least we try to get representatives to make the votes for us. That's how it works. And just as your presidential elections are important, your local elections are important. Your city elections, your state elections, all of those elections are very important. Go to your city council meetings. Go to your state council meetings if you can, because these meetings are very important. You stay informed about what's happening around you. When I was in high school, I went to all, my Board of Education meetings. I went to, just about every board meeting in my county because I figured at the time I wanted to know what these leaders were doing for our schools. And I'm just using the Board of Education as an example. But you have these resources you can use to make a difference. Don't ever feel like you are just a civilian just living in a country that doesn't care about its people just to get by. Because you're worth more than that. You hear me? You are worth more than just an American citizen. You have a right. Last time I checked, this country is a democracy. It's not a dictatorship. It's not an oligarchy. It is definitely not a theocracy, which is a type of ruling formed when, God basically dictates how a country is ran or how a certain municipality is ran. It's not about that. It's about us, the people. We have the power, and we need to start using it effectively in the real world, not just on social media. We can make posts all day long. We can get angry all day long, but if we're not out there actually making a difference, then what good is the post? It's not effective. You're not being effective enough to the cause. You say you're against it. You say that you want to make a difference. Go make a difference. Who's holding you back? Who's stopping you? Nobody's stopping you. Literally. No one is stopping you. Why wait only every 4 years to participate in the presidential election when you can participate in your local elections right now? Shoot. Our election day is in November. Not the first Tuesday. It's usually the first Tuesday in November, but not November 1st. That's how it's usually described. But yeah, the next election day, you need to be on top of things. You do. Stop waiting for someone to tell you to do something. Just do it. Go vote. We shouldn't have to keep having these conversations about, will my vote matter? It will. Just go. Go do your thing. I'm behind you every step of the way. When I was 18 years old, you know what I did? You want to know what my first actual election that I voted in? It was the presidential election of 2020. And at the time, I felt like I was contributing to a good cause. And knowing that this man, Donald Trump, did not get reelected, it made me feel good inside because I was a part of that vote. I was a part of that race. I contributed. I cast my ballot. And to me, that made me feel excellent inside. And so that told me, okay, well, if my vote mattered in that presidential election, then it should matter in my local elections and my general elections as well. And so, a few weeks ago, I participated in my, general election. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take people to go out, stand on your own 2 feet outside those precincts and cast those ballots. It's important, people. You know what I'm saying? You have all these crooked politicians and, crooked people who don't deserve to fill in those seats because they don't hold the best interests of those people at heart. It shouldn't be about you. It should be about the people. It should be about a collective group of people who are just trying to make ends meet in this nasty society that we live in. And this is what I have to say. I will once again say, if you only depend on social media to advocate for a serious issue, you are not working hard enough. You are not being effective. In fact, you are a dead weight to the cause. For all those people that I saw posting on social media, I better see every last one of you at those voting precincts come November or the next time we have a general election. I better see everybody voting. I better see everyone encouraging people to vote because it matters. What are you waiting for? Stop waiting on social media to get you to voice your opinion about a serious issue. This is a serious issue. These high-class politicians stripping our rights one banana peel at a time. Dark times are ahead, people. Dark times are ahead, indeed. Now, getting back to the Supreme Court justices here. Sorry for my rant. You know, I just got really passionate about voting, so I apologize for that. But yeah, the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, you know, he wants to strip other rights away from people. And this is why I encourage people to go vote. So that way, you know, we don't keep people like him in office. And another detriment to the banning of the abortion laws, another detriment that comes with it is basically, you mean to tell me if a woman gets raped, right? If she gets raped by someone and she ends up pregnant, she's forced to have that rape baby? Like, seriously, she's forced to have a rape baby? What if she doesn't want to be reminded about how the baby came to be? You know what I'm saying? Not all children are born through planned pregnancies or planned circumstances. Some are born unexpectedly, you know, and things happen. But, you know, the whole rape thing doesn't surprise me not one bit, because I heard that, and I actually researched this, Clarence Thomas, he was actually accused of sexual harassment to this woman back in 1991, I believe. This woman's name was Anita Hill. And Anita Hill at the time was, let's see here. I want to say she was a secretary. Hold on, let me see real quick. Anita Hill. Okay, she's an American lawyer, educator, and author. She became a national figure in 1991 when she accused U.S. Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas, her supervisor at the U.S. Department of Education and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, of sexual harassment. So you mean to tell me this man who was accused of sexual harassment has some right and some nerve to vote against Roe versus Wade? It all adds up. It all makes sense. But why am I getting on just this one man? All the 9 justices should be ashamed of themselves. And then they want to, all these pro-lifers want to, like I said before, use religion as an excuse. No, that's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to use religion as a weapon and as an excuse to ridicule people and make them feel bad, then you don't deserve to have a religion. You don't deserve to believe in anything because you're abusing that religion. You're making yourself hypocritical. You're making yourself go down on a backward spiral. And that is not a good look for you to be a so-called Christian. How the heck are you going to sit here and tell someone how to live their lives when you can't even get your own life in order? Make it make sense. Please, someone, please make it make sense. And if you feel heavily hurt by what I just said, DM me. Reach out to me. My Instagram is at Corey D. Jokester Davis. Corey D. Jokester DJOKESTER Davis. If you want to talk about it, DM me. I would gladly be able to explain why I feel the way I do. But at the same time, you know, this is why I'm doing the podcast, because I don't want to argue on social media. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to share a serious issue and then someone slides up in my DMs and, you know, they're arguing with me like saying,
Oh, you're wrong about this.
or
You're not looking at it like that. You're not looking at it the right way.
like, I don't have time for that, you know? I'm a grown man. Who do I look like arguing with someone, going back and forth on social media? It doesn't get me it doesn't get anyone anywhere. That's why if you want to have these conversations, call somebody up on the phone. text them, or better yet, talk to them in person if you feel that passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? But all this social media stuff, it's not going to get anybody anywhere. I can't tell you the number of times I've been on Facebook and I've seen people that I've known just argue back and forth about, all these serious issues. And yes, it is important that we talk about it. It is important that we say something about these things because, if we don't, it's just going to keep happening. But what good is it for us to argue on social media if we're not putting forth some effort into taking action in real life? This is what I was just saying moments ago. Like, all the social media stuff, man, at the end of the day, if you're not putting the money where your mouth is, it doesn't mean anything. You're just saying stuff just to be saying stuff. And I hate to say it, but just like these mass shootings happened a couple of weeks ago that nobody's talking about anymore, this whole abortion thing, people are talking about it now, but come next week or come, in the next 2 weeks or, the next month or so, no one's going to bring it up anymore. And it's sad because we always take these serious issues. We post about it on social media. We run our mouths. We always say, oh, man, this is so sad. Hearts go out to the family or whatever. Oh, man, America's this, America's that. But about a week or two later, we go right back to doing what we were doing before it happened in the first place. We go right back, like things go right back to the status quo, as if it never even happened in the first place. And that's sad. Like, what was all that talk about, being passionate about your rights and, letting the people decide what they should do with their lives? You're not going to keep talking about that for a little bit? I'm not saying you got to beat the situation to, beat it down to the ground, like, beat on a dead horse or anything like that. But if it's serious and if it's important, I feel like you should at least talk about it for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, don't look at, a situation like, mass shootings and just talk about it for a week and then just let it go. But you guys want to drag out that Will Smith versus Chris Rock slap, though. Y'all drug that out. Y'all drug that out for like 3 to 4 weeks. I remember that. But for a mass shooting, you want to talk about it for 1 week or a few days and just let it go like it never happened? Get out of here with that, man. Your social media posts mean nothing to me. If you're not out, like I said before, if you're not out there voting, if you're not out there actually making a difference, then you're not being effective at all. You're not doing anything. You're just holding people back. You're actually contributing to the problem that needs to be fixed. But hey, who am I, right? I'm just an outsider looking in. Just an outsider looking in. I used to be that guy to post on social media about these issues, but then I had to come to a realization in 2020 that, it's one thing to post, but what am I doing to contribute? What am I doing to fight against these injustices? You know what I'm saying? So I had to reevaluate myself. And that November of that same year, that's why I contributed to the presidential election. And then this year, I contributed to the general election. And I'm going to make it my duty to vote every single year from here on out. Because it's important. It's really important. I didn't realize how important it was until 2020. Until getting into the 20s. But I guess the 20s now aren't so roaring as it used to be, huh? But yeah, folks, these justices, these politicians, these people in these seats, they're crooked. They're really crooked. And they're not very nice people. Of course, we've seen that already. They're not. That's why it doesn't surprise me. I'm not shocked. Am I disappointed? Yes. But am I shocked? No. But I'm tired of venting on social media and, not contributing to anything. I mean, I contribute now, but I'm just saying back then, I'm tired of being angry, guys. At some point, you just get tired of being tired. At some point, you just got to get out there, vote, and keep moving. Keep it pushing. At least you're doing something out there. At least you're doing the thing that a lot of people are not doing. You have to be out there to fight the battles for you and for the people you care about because it applies to them too. This abortion thing, it's not just women, men too. It affects people of all kinds of sorts. We all have an effect in this. You might know someone who's a woman who's going through this. You might know someone very close to you who just isn't ready to be a mother right now or a father. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's financial situations are different. So what man has the right to tell a woman what to do with her body? He has no right. No one has the right. And the Supreme Court justices, some of them were women too. Wouldn't you think as a woman you would kind of, I don't know, advocate for those abortion laws? Because you're a woman, you have a body too. If you were in those other women's shoes, you probably would have been saying the same thing. Oh, it's my body, it's my choice. Or, what am I saying? You would probably let your Christian views get in the way. Pro-lifers. Like I said, look, I'm all for people having a difference in opinions. I'm all for people thinking differently. I'm all for people disagreeing. But what I am not for is someone taking a moral issue, a serious issue. It's not political, but just the morality in general, like just people's moral compasses, people's way of thinking, way of thinking in life, morality. And I think that is the number one thing. If you're being immoral about this issue, then I'm sorry. You're not right. You're wrong. You're not. You can't sit here and tell me that this is right. You just can't convince me. You can't use your beliefs as a way to judge and ridicule people. See, this is why so many people now are driving away from religion. Because it's being forced on them. And then you make people feel bad when they don't think like you. Who are you as a Christian to ridicule someone just because they're living a life differently from yours? Like, dang, they're not out here robbing people. They're not out here killing people. They're not out here stealing. You know what I'm saying? But yet, they're doing something with their lives that you don't like. Just, if you don't know, stay out of it. And I prefer you stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? Stay out of their lives. You don't even know them. Why are you, as an older person, why are you, as a person in general, so invested in someone else's life like it's some soap opera or some reality show? Focused on your own needs and wants. Let these people be people, okay? There's nothing wrong with letting people be people. It's their lives. It's their choices. If they want to make the best of their lives, let them. If they want to screw it up, let them. But that's their choice at the end of the day. It's called free will. See, this whole thing is about control. This whole abortion overturning is about control. It's about power. It's about money. It's about drive. Let me stop because I'm sounding like The Rock a little bit. But the point is, it's all about control. There's a certain patriarchy that America has that we just can't let go for some reason. It's this arrogance. It's this pride that, men are the supreme rulers. It's this alpha male mentality that we got to let go of, man. It's harmful. It's dangerous. And there are some women that support the alpha male mentality. Like the Supreme Court justices, who some of them were women. They supported that. It's obvious that they do support that, because if they didn't support it, they wouldn't have voted to overturn it. This has got to end. But it's not going to anytime soon. They're not going to stop until all of our rights are gone. Because like I said, they're already working on putting out voter suppression laws to make voting harder for minorities. They're already putting out anti-abortion laws. They're already putting out anti-immigration laws. They're not going to stop until, they get their white superiority back. It's this God complex that, America has. And it's very selfish and it's very arrogant. And I feel like it needs to come to a halt. Not just a halt, a cease. It needs to come to a cease. It needs to come to an end. Because the longer this keeps happening, the longer we keep posting on social media and not doing anything about it, the longer these powerful rich heads are going to keep staying in power. Because the problem is, they're not keeping themselves in power. We are keeping them in power. It's us. It's us, the people. We have more power than you think. We're a democracy, after all. A representative democracy, a republic. We elect people to represent us. Let's all work hand in hand, put our differences to a side, and just fight against the immoral actions of the government. And let's just be the true one nation under God. But until then, until that happens, then I'm sorry. Like, just don't lecture me about patriotism. Don't lecture me about how, standing up for the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance is really important. Because to be honest, I don't stand anymore. I don't care if it sparks controversy. I'm not going to stand for anybody that's not standing for me. And that is all I'm going to have to say. Anyone that's not standing for me or standing for anyone that I know. I had to rephrase that because it's not just about me and my people. It's about all the marginalized groups out there who are minorities, who are women, who are disabled. There's so many marginalized groups. The list just keeps going, but I'm not going to name all of them because I'm sure you know all of them. But why don't we, like I said, we all just come together and just be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The key word there is liberty. I don't ever want to hear anyone say this is a free country because it's not. Where's the liberty at? Land of the free, really? Since when has this land ever been free? This land was never free. In fact, this land is not even ours. It belongs to the natives. They were here before any of us. But us black folks, we were forced to come here. And white folks, they came from Europe. So neither one of us was supposed to be here. This is the natives' land. But since most of us were born on this land, it's ours too. And I'll be darned if someone tells me, if you don't like it, go back to your home country or, leave America. No, I shouldn't have to leave a country that I was born in because of the fact that, things aren't right. I was born here, my family was born here, and just because we were born here, it does not mean we have to put up with the shenanigans. We can stay in the country and fight the good fight. I shouldn't have to leave for anyone's ignorance. I shouldn't have to leave for anyone's stupidity or anyone's racism. I shouldn't have to leave for all these criminals and all these monsters. If I'm going to stay with an intention to fight a good fight. And that's the end of that, buddy. And if you don't like it, oh well, go skip rocks. Because frankly, my dear, I don't give a darn. That's it, folks. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this very first episode of Anything and Everything, and I hope you all learned something, and I hope you all took some type of value out of this. And I want to apologize if I ranted too much, but I just wanted to get my take out on this the fate of our country, and I do hope it gets better at some point. But that's a long road from where we are now. But I am optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'm not a pessimist. I don't believe myself to be a pessimist because pessimism only sets you back. But optimism gives you hope for the best, for the future. It gives you something to look forward to. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all or talk to you all next Sunday.